I'm Allendale's Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin. Let's take a look at your midday weather update. Latest surface analysis across the middle of the country shows high pressure dominant. We've got a strong surface high sitting over Lake Erie, Lake Ontario area. It's keeping most of the Corn Belt clear. Good south winds coming up ahead of a frontal boundary in the plains. Now that front is still well back off to the west, coming through Idaho, Nevada, going into Utah, and it really hasn't picked up much precipitation yet. Watch very closely low pressure areas that are in the Las Vegas area, kind of staggered around there. We feel that that's going to be what develops along this front out west, works up into the central Rockies, and then that will come out to the east as we go out the end of the weekend into early next week across the plains. Our overall forecast pattern does not need to change at this point. Nothing on the latest model runs makes us overly excited about change, but we'll just kind of page through right now and see what the models are saying. Right now, dry weather holds right on through the weekend and through the first part of next week in the Corn Belt, as we mentioned in our write-up this morning. You may see a little bit of moisture sagging southward into the northern part of the Corn Belt, very far north, we're talking, across the Great Lakes as you go through Monday morning, but I'm just not looking for much there. Honestly, the cold front ejects out of the plains Tuesday morning, and we'll start to put a little bit of moisture down in the western belt, Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, probably as we go through Wednesday. That batch of moisture fairly limited in scope and in amount. We're talking quarter inch or less, a lot of the place, maybe a half inch here or there. But that's because the low shoots from central to northeastern Colorado up into southern Manitoba. It's more of a north track than east, and then that low works its way to Hudson Bay as the cold front sweeps eastward. Now, as the cold front sweeps eastward, we still expect a secondary low to develop in Texas, Oklahoma, come up the front, so that as we go through Thursday and into early Friday, we're looking for probably half to 1.25 inch rain amounts across the rest of the Corn Belt. We still like coverage out of this frontal boundary passage next week, probably on the order of 70 to 80% or better. The areas that may be missed are going to be the ones that are in between, where the first part of the front comes through, Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and then where the moisture comes up out of Texas as the front is farther east. So maybe west central parts of Illinois, eastern Missouri, maybe those are the areas that are on the outside looking in with regard to precipitation. We'll just have to watch and see. Now, as we go after that, cool air dives in. The GFS is just being a major cold monger trying to dive cold air in. European, not so much, but let's call it what it is. There will be cooler air coming in. Cooler air can't hold near as much moisture as warm air, so you got to look for a chance maybe of some lingering moisture off and on through the 5th and 6th over the northern Corn Belt. I think mostly I-80 northward, and even there we're probably only looking at coverage about 40%, maybe 50%. The rest of the region looks good. Strong high pressure parks in as we go into the week after next. And really, I look for a mostly dry period through the extended time frame as well. Next front, to me, looks like it wants to work its way in as you go into the 10th or 11th, trying to come into the plains. May try and pick up some moisture from the south, but the GFS especially flip-flopping big time in those far-out panels as to just how much moisture is where. To me, I like this forecast with regard to harvest. We've got one chance of rain, good chance of rain, out of the next 2 weeks. It's a chance of rain that may stretch over 2 days max in any given location. And then we're back to drying things down. Temperatures are not going to be excessively warm, but we're not looking at a cold push either. I'm actually going to skew temperatures after this weekend and early next week. Once that front comes in, I'm going to skew temperatures probably normal to slightly below for the rest of the forecast period. So that's what we've got. No real significant changes here. South America continuing to look pretty much the same. 2 to 3 systems in south, central, southeastern Brazil. Central north, though, looking at that one system around the 9th, 10th, 11th, maybe back into the 8th there, but some moisture there for the northern areas that may be looking at trying to get going with planting as soon as they get a drink of moisture. Argentina still has good moisture coming in the extended period as well. So overall, the forecast looking pretty good as we go into the weekend. As always, if you've got any questions on the weather, give us a shout at Allendale. I'm Chief Meteorologist Ryan Martin.